Hey, thanks for joining us back here in Erie, Pennsylvania at Stan's Garden Center for another Rooted in Erie segment. We're going to talk about tomatoes again. I love talking about vegetables because in the last few years, edibles and folks that really are growing a lot of edibles for their kitchen table have just blown up in popularity. So the tomatoes are the one that everybody is trying to get in the ground early. They want to get as much fruit as they can. It's just the coveted vegetable plant that everybody wants to do. So I'm here. Last video we talked about the heirloom plants that you can save seeds. They're open air pollinated. They're collectible. There's thousands of heirloom varieties of tomatoes in the world. Here I'm on the hybrid side. So I want to talk about the difference between heirloom and hybrid. Hybridization, big vocabulary word, has been going on since the dawn of time. And all that basically is an open air pollinated plant, one tomato, hey, meet another tomato, and all of a sudden they make a different tomato. That's been going on in the world forever. Hybridization is not the same as GMO. Don't be confused by that. GMO, not to get into the muddy waters of genetics, but that's when they're introducing something into the tomato that doesn't really belong there. Something foreign, different plant, different genus, something crazy. Hybridization is just plant and plant, match.com for plants. So now you have all these different varieties that you've seen in the hybrid tomatoes that have been around forever. And there's a pro to this. So you're going to see Celebrity, one of my favorite tomatoes, because if you look here, there's all these letters, V, F, F, N, T, A. You might not have ever known what that's for. That's all the resistance. Verticillium, fusarium, nematode. All that is resistance. So you see Celebrity has a whole lot of letters after it, so it's a really resilient. So if you say, I've tried tomatoes, they always get sick or whatever, try something like Celebrity. That gives you the most resilience. It's like vaccination for the plant. It doesn't really want to inhibit that plant that has that genetic proprietary internal mechanism that keeps it from getting sick. So that's the pro to hybridization. So this tomato, really, really good flavor. This tomato, resilient to nematodes. Put the two together, now you have a good flavor, resistant. So the hybridization of them should not be the resilience only. I want to talk about culture. So if you get this plant right here, I want you to go ahead and prepare your soil. When you prepare your soil, lots of organic matter, lots of rich, add some lime. Lime is calcium. Tomatoes feed a lot on minor elements, not just nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but they feed on magnesium, calcium, molybdenum, copper, boron, all those things more than a lot of other vegetables will. So in order for them to soak up all that nutrition, to be resilient against that, you want them to have lots of roots. So go ahead and plant this tomato deep. You're going to colonize lots of roots on here, so you're going to get the plant almost out of balance in a good way. You're going to have that root system larger than the top. It's going to give it kind of a jump start on having a lot of available root surface to absorb all those minor elements. One way to help with this is not loving them to death early. So just kind of ward off that temptation to plant May 1 in Erie, Pennsylvania. Lots of folks see them on the bench. They think they want to try to get them in early, but tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, zucchinis, cucumbers, all those have problems later on in the summer if you plant too early in cold, wet ground. They just don't thrive. I call it stunt, whether that's right horticulture word or not, but it kind of just makes the plant stop in its place because it's too cool and it's too wet for it to thrive. Don't you, as the gardener, also flood it with water early all the time to keep it wet because you get a spoiled Brat root system that's close to the stem, close to the surface, down the road, doesn't thrive. So plant that plant deep, make it work for it a little bit, maybe mulch around the plant to keep the sun and the wind and the weeds down so you don't have competition for that nutrition and that water, so that plant goes down and looks for that nutrition and water down in the ground. Then later on, less splitting fruit, less blight issues, less yellowing from the bottom up. That helps that nutrition soak up. I'd love to talk to you more about vegetables. Feel free to stop in or message us at Stan's Garden Center.